Now we're going to kick off with a very talented guest who has won countless awards and starred in hits such as Call the Midwife. Please welcome the brilliant comedian Samantha Baines. And again, shoulders. Hey Samantha, welcome to the festival.
Hi, thanks. I love this sofa. There's so many cushions.
Yes, and it's very politically balanced. Because we have, there you go. We don't want to put any noses out of joint, of course. We've got
Please
a foot
stay.
in both camps. That's what David Bowie said, wasn't it? David Bowie got involved in the Scottish referendum by saying, "Stay with us." That's my Bowie impression.
That was very, very good.
It was like he was in the room, wasn't it? Sarcastic laughter from the studio audience. Well, it's great to have you back at the festival. I would have thought, given that you're a glittering TV star, that you'd outgrown, like, just the world of live performance.
No. Yeah, I don't think you can ever outgrow the world. You still have to come to a wooden box in Edinburgh that's leaking and do a show for a month, just to bring yourself back down to earth, I think, from the glittering world of TV.
Absolutely. I mean, how many Edinburghs have you done now? Do you know?
I've done 7 Edinburghs.
It's a lot.
But this is my first debut solo hour of stand-up. Oh, good sound effects from the studio audience.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of failed actors in the crowd, actually.
Yeah, guys.
Do you feel like you needed to come out of your comfort zone, do something a bit crazy and brave like that?
Yeah, I think it is quite scary because some people might know me from seeing me in some things that aren't doing stand-up. And obviously, I talk on the radio and I try and be funny, but it's not necessarily the same. But I've been doing stand-up for about 3 years and I really enjoy it. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to challenge myself and do it about a subject that I have a bit of an interest in.
Well, yeah, so tell us about this subject. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so my show is all about science and the universe and Professor Brian Cox.
Is it really just... Is it mainly about Professor
It's mainly about Professor Brian Cox.
Because I hadn't even heard of physics until that dude turned up.
I know,
and my whole world changed.
Well, I saw him on TV and I thought, well... Hi, Brian. And so I'm doing a show about the universe to impress Brian Cox. That's essentially...
It's a very creative form of stalking, isn't it?
Yeah, because I did once write him a poem, Stalker, and the Huffington Post published it. Why? And I tweeted it at him like maybe 6 or 7 times, and he didn't reply. And so now I've written an hour show.
If that doesn't work, nothing will.
Do you know what I mean? To try and get
you
in his
really
pants.
haven't encountered Brian Cox yet, then?
No, I've been in places where he has been previously.
Okay.
Like I did the Blue Dot Festival, which is a brilliant science festival in the UK earlier this year, and he had been on the same stage a few hours previously.
Right. Did you, like, steal the coffee mug?
I, rolled around in it.
Yes.
Trying to feel his presence. No, one day, maybe, hopefully I can meet him.
And is the Brian Cox thing, is it a kind of funny sort of peg or angle for a show which generally reflects your interest in science? Or really, is it really about Brian Cox?
It's just stalking. No, I do definitely have an interest in science, and I studied it when I was at school, but I kind of felt dissuaded from it and kind of pushed into drama as kind of an easy subject. But obviously I love drama and I've done lots of lovely things. But it's kind of me re-exploring that love of science and finding out about a lot of sexism in space, actually, through my exploration of the universe and trying to impress Brian.
Well, yeah, because there's an angle, there's a sort of feminist angle, actually, to this whole world. Why is that? Is it just because science is hitherto quite male-dominated?
Yeah, I think also, back in the 60s and the 50s when NASA were training astronauts, they refused to train female astronauts and they wouldn't even look into it. And there was a brilliant guy called Randy Lovelace. Couldn't make it up.
Sounds like a legend.
And he was training female.
Don't Google that name because it might be quite shocking.
Video of me. No. So he was training women, and he found out that they got better results when tested against the same things as male astronauts are tested in, which is pain, heat, cold, loneliness, and monotony.
Yes.
Because that's life,
I mean,
isn't
that
it?
sounds like marriage, doesn't it? I think...
No, it's just living. That's why we live longer as women.
Well, no, that's right. I mean, I always think the physiology of females is more sophisticated because you can incubate and grow another human and then push that human out. Men can't do that.
As I did in Call the Midwife, very beautifully.
I always think,
sweaty.
you know, when you get a regular car, okay, you get two types of car. You get the sort of top level, and then you get the standard cheap version of the same thing.
Yeah.
And my mum used to have a Fiat Uno, which is it's a lovely but basic car. And there were all these buttons that were it's a piece of black plastic, okay? And then on the higher grade one, there'd be extra things that it did. Do you know, like GPS or other stuff?
Bluetooth.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the male is like the entry level human, you know, where we can wee and we can talk, and that's, you know what I mean? That's pretty much
I'm
it,
trying
right?
to go with this car metaphor, but I can't drive, and I don't know anything about cars.
It's
Yes.
difficult. But if you
Okay.
think of what the females is like, it's the total top of the range, you know what I mean? Just in terms of what you guys can physically manage to do. So therefore,
We've
it doesn't
got a lot of
surprise
boot
me.
space.
I think you're a compact. I do. I think you're a hatchback. But no, here's the thing.
I
you
don't know
something?
that reference. Is that nice?
I'll be honest with you. This conversation is a minefield. But all I would like to say is I know that the show's selling out, so it's almost a waste of time plugging it. But what's it called? Where is it and when?
It is One Woman, A Dwarf Planet, and Two Cocks, spelt with an X. And it's on at 3:30 every day at the Pleasance Courtyard. And yeah, it's sold out till next week, but there are a few tickets left next week. So if you fancy coming along.
Do it. Samantha Baines, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to ask Samantha to stick around because we have another master in the art of mirth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the talented, the handsome, the rather rugged Ilyas, ladies and gentlemen. It's true. Hey, listen, Tez.
Hi.
We're in Scotland. Tell us about the T-shirt. What's going on?
I bought this T-shirt in 2007, and I'm wearing it because it still fits.
It fits you it's a very good... Is that your special showbiz T-shirt?
Yeah, it's the T-shirt that I wear when I've got serious things going on.
And there's nothing more serious than Edinburgh Fest Live.
And comedy.
This is the big one. How do you dress when you're on stage? Do you have like stage clothes, or is it just Tez's favourite kits?
I wear a suit.
Do you?
Which I probably should have wore for the occasion. It's just come to me.
No, it's nice to see the kind of slightly more casual thing. I think it's nice.
Thanks,
Mix
man.
it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get my legs out.
Yes, I know. I don't know if you can see
Look
this.
at those
but
knees.
There you go.
Legs
It's a bit
McGee- legs
slightly
McGee- legs McGee
X-rated,
over
isn't
here.
it? It's like I've never been to Scotland before. It's currently hailing out there, but I like to be at odds with the weather. Do you know what I mean?
The pastel suits you as well. I like it.
I'm getting a lot of praise. I've never had this before. Normally, the lime green shorts divide opinion.
It's because you call me handsome.
See, it's a loving, isn't it? And
I
what
love
about-
that I got a car metaphor and you guys are like complimenting each other's clothes.
It's easily
I like this.
the
Sounds about
campus
right.
conversation I've ever had, and I'm loving every minute. How about your show then? Tell us more. What are you up to this year?
The show is called Made in Britain.
How appropriate.
Yeah, so I like what you've done there. And it's an autobiographical tale about my life, who I am, why I've become the person I am. And I guess the through narrative is, even though I've had quite a lot of odd experiences that one would not consider typically British experiences, because they're happening in Britain today, they are therefore British experiences.
Yeah.
And the show's just full of absolute lols.
Of course it is. I know it's totes lols for a whole 60 minutes. And there's other lols you couldn't squeeze in. Such was the quality of the show. But you're getting great reviews. Everyone's loving it. I mean, I don't want you to necessarily give away bits of your show, but just in terms of in a broad sense, what kind of stuff has happened to you that you said would be unusual in Britain, but because it's happened in Britain, then it's a British thing?
So I have 40 first cousins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You should
mean,
be- you
if
should be
there's
on the,
anyone from an Irish background in the audience, they'd be like, 40, that's nothing.
not.
But that's quite a lot, I think, growing up with 40 first cousins.
amazing.
Some of them my age. Some, like the youngest one is like 6 years old.
Wow.
And then the eldest one is like 45. So it's quite a broad range in ages and stuff. So that's quite unusual, I think. Also, my parents were divorced, which isn't unusual. But growing up as an Asian kid in the 80s, that was very rare.
Yeah.
Like, it was rarer. than criminal
And
war
frowned upon?
culturally,
Yeah.
yeah. Like it was rarer than criminal war charges against a Western leader. You know, it just you just don't see it very often. It's super rare.
Tony Blair, anyone? Yeah, interesting. So that's it. So what? So your parents had. I mean, so how many siblings have you got?
So my parents had 2 kids before they got divorced, and then they both got remarried and had more kids. So I've got 9 siblings altogether.
And
then the 41st
what's your
cousins.
attitude to having all these cousins and big families? Is it the more the merrier? Is it
Yeah,
better?
I love it. I love it. I've always grown up around a lot of people, big community as well, and people just coming in and out of each other's houses and stuff. So I've never. So the Edinburgh Festival, I love. I love having all these people around. It's cool.
No, it's brilliant. Yeah, you're a team player. It's definitely a team effort. And how do you feel like, what's your attitude towards Britain? I mean, you were born in this country and you have an Asian background to your family. So do you feel British? Of course you do, right?
It's weird. Yeah, I feel British, but I don't feel English weirdly.
That's probably a good thing, isn't it? They're
Yeah,
terrible
I don't
people.
know. So I feel when Scotland were having the vote to be independent, I would have been very upset if you guys had left. So.
Well, I tell you
stay.
something, it would have been quite gutting, I agree. And ultimately, is it an optimistic show?
Yes, I think so. I think the message at the end is what I said earlier. It's about acceptance and realizing that we're not all the same, but that doesn't matter.
There you go. Well, I tell you what matters is getting hold of a ticket to see Tez. It's a show which is receiving critical acclaim, and rightly so. Please give it up for Tez Ilyas, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks also to the wonderful Samantha Baines. We're back with more hilarity in 2 minutes.